The batting order for the Oakland Athletics tonight: Louis Polonia in left field, Dave Henderson in center, Dave Parker the designated hitter, Mark McGuire at first base, Ron Hasse catching, Carney Lansford at third base back in the lineup tonight, Tony Phillips at shortstop, Lance Blankenship in right field, and returning from the disabled list, Glenn Hubbard at second base. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, the Red Sox are on the field, and we're ready for our national anthem, John Kiley. Set to play ball, and here are your umpires tonight. Dale Scott calling the balls and strikes, Rocky Rowe at first base, Mike Riley at second, and Rich Garcia will be calling the plays at third. The night is cooler. It was around 70 when all of us were starting to come in to the ballpark late this afternoon and early this evening. Then the rains came and cooled it off, and the wind is blowing in. And they may help. Those elements certainly may help. Roger Clemens.
Clemens trying to break that 3-game losing streak. The last time he did win a ball game was to start off that West Coast trip against the Seattle Mariners back on May 12th. Since that time, 2 losses to the California Angels and 1 to the Oakland A's, but not much you could do about that last loss to the Angels. Of course, got hooked up with Chuck Finley, who pitched the one-hitter against the Red Sox. Of course, Jody Reed getting that only base hit. For Clemens, 5-4 on the season, a 3.14 ERA, 63 hits and 80 in the third innings. He struck out 68, which puts him second in the league to Nolan Ryan. And now with Langston out of the league, I would guess that race will probably come down between Ryan and Clemens. I could see Viola possibly being there, and maybe Swindell. But I'm sure those strikeout guys happy to see Langston go over to the National League.
He's been a perennial up there number oneer for a bunch of years. Roger is 0-1 this year against the A's. They beat him 5-4 out in Oakland on the 21st of May. He's 1-3 against them in this ballpark at Fenway. His only win against them came here at Fenway. Of course, the last time he faced this ball club here was a few people in the house then, too, as there are tonight. It was the American League Championship playoffs in Game 2 when Oakland beat him in a close ball game, a well-pitched game. Gave you the final scores in the American League today. Milwaukee beat the California Angels 4-1. Oakland, with a win tonight, could move into first place in the for good in the not for good, but alone in the American League West. Seattle is leading the Yankees 2-1 in the third inning. Texas and Baltimore no score in the third. Cleveland 2, Toronto 1. George Bell had a homer for Toronto. That's after 2 innings at Cleveland. Detroit's at Chicago, Minnesota at Kansas City. The National League today, Houston beat the Cardinals 4-3. The Dodgers beat Montreal 9-4. Orel Hershiser getting his 7th win. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati at the end of 5. Cincinnati 2, Pittsburgh 1. Atlanta and Chicago 2-2 in the 4th at Atlanta. Ryan Sandberg is homered for the Cubs. Philadelphia at San Diego, and the Mets at San Francisco later. We are set from Fenway with an hour's rain delay as Louis Polonia, the left fielder, comes up hitting .277. Takes the strike, and we're underway.
One thing that's good for both pitchers is they did not warm up then have to sit back down because of the rain delay. It started well before they went out to start their warm-up pitches, so just one time going down to that bullpen to warm up, so just like a regular ball game for them.
2 strikes. Polonia, no home runs, 13 runs batted in. Clemens missing outside. 60 degrees. It has gone down about 10 degrees with the rain. Just getting a little piece of that foul. And Polonia is 1-2. Luis led off last night's game and went 1 for 5. Had a single, an infield hit. Fastball up and in. Whistled right by his nose.
Clemens basically has been staying away from Polonia with the fastball. Catches him leaning out over the plate and zips that fastball at about head high. That'll get you thinking early in the ball game.
If you were in a fog beforehand, you're not in it now. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Luis Polonia with Henderson on deck. Pulling a foul.
One thing the Red Sox do know is Polonia can handle the fastball, and not too many fastballs you can throw by. I mean, you see Clemens, when he's thrown the fastball, it's either been way inside or off the plate outside, and basically he's been staying with the split-fingered fastball against Polonia.
They bunch Polonia to left center field, much the way the other teams play Wade Boggs. That ball is hit to straightaway center, and Ellis Burks is back. The way Polonia started the game last night, flying to center field.
Good example right there, too, what you have to do against a Clemens, how you try to speed your bat up. That ball was on the outside part of the plate, and Polonia, trying to be quick, still get out in front of that ball and hit it to center field. You would think that he hit that ball to the opposite field.
Yeah, he sent Burks a little bit to his left from where he was playing. Here's Dave Henderson, the center fielder, hitting .280. 7 home runs. Big rip for David. He went 1 for 5 last night with a single. Strike 2. Aborted the swing, was able to hold the swing back, but it's a strike anyway, according to Dale Scott. One and 2. Henderson has had 4 hits in his last 24 times at bat. Right now, that .280 mark is the lowest he's been at this year. Strike 3, he's gone. Pitcher's pitch on the outside corner, no argument at all on that one. And there are 2 away.
Clemens threw the slider, no balls and 2 strikes, threw it way off the plate, and with 1 and 2 came back with the same pitch, except this time right on the black on the outside corner.
So Clemens racks up the first K of the night, and now we'll face Dave Parker. Parker, the designated hitter, at .247, had a big home run late last night to give the A's a pad run that they needed. 1 ball and no strikes. Parker with 7 home runs for the year and 28 runs batted in. Right now is a hot hitter. Clemens picks up the corner, and it's 1-1.
Showed some power last night to both fields. Planted a ball off the wall early in the ball game, and then of course the home run off Stanley over that Red Sox bullpen, pulling that pitch.
Parker's had 3 home runs on this road trip, long road trip for the A's, and is behind on the count now, 1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Parker realizing that he's advancing in age. He lightened his bat a little bit. Put a little more arc in his swing to get the ball in the air. And so far, the adjustment has looked pretty good since coming into the American League. And he punches one to center field for a hit right off the hands. And Parker is on with a 2-out single.
You mentioned, Ned, about Parker taking a lighter bat to the plate, and that's something, especially a big, strong guy like Parker. It's hard for those guys to do that because they become accustomed throughout their whole career using the same type of bat. Usually it's a big bat, a long one, and it's heavy. And it takes a lot for them to go down once they realize that, yes, I'm getting a little bit older. Maybe I have to make some adjustments. Parker has done that and has been successful.
Yeah, he went from about a 37-ounce to a 34-ounce. Here's Mark McGwire, the first baseman, at 248. 10 home runs. Ball one. McGwire has been slumping lately. 7 hits in his last 36 times at bat. But did have a couple of hits last night. He had 2 singles, 2 for 4. You'd expect Clemens to challenge McGwire. McGwire is a good off-speed and breaking ball hitter. And the breaking ball shown outside ball too, but last year particularly they started to ride up the fastball on him, and he started getting him out.
I think the book on McGwire is to try to pitch him. If you've got a good live fastball, try to get it up in the strike zone and try to get it in, so he was unable to get his arms extended to generate the power.
2-0. Out of play.
Notice a little rain starting to fall again here at Fenway Park. It looks like it may be one of those evenings.
Swell. Yeah, you're right. A little misty rain. The forecast this afternoon had said occasional showers playing around the area the next day or so, tonight, tomorrow, maybe the next day, but occasional. It is 3-1 to McGwire. They're trying to play through this one. If it gets to be just like this for a while, play right through it. Final game of the series. Open day for both clubs tomorrow, except for the Red Sox exhibition game. 3-2. They are scheduled to go down to McCoy Stadium tomorrow night and play the Paw Sox of Ed Noddle, who I guess read everybody out last night.
Frustrating season so far for the Pawtucket Red Sox, and I guess Ed Noddle's patience are wearing a little thin.
I guess so. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And ball 4, and 2 are on. McGwire takes a walk. Parker goes to second. And the left-handed hitting catcher, Ron Hasse, coming up.
It's again Tony La Russa rotating the lineup, trying to get some off days for a number of his players. Last night, of course, Connie Lansford out of the lineup, back in tonight. Steinbeck out of the lineup tonight, and Hasse in as catcher. Also Gallego, the shortstop, getting a night off. Nice to have that depth where you feel very comfortable using different lineups.
And these guys can play a number of positions. Ray Fosse mentioned Steinbach when I were talking to him a while back, that he can play outfield, first base, and catch. Blankenship, who was at second base last night, is in right field for Oakland tonight. 1 strike to Hasse, who was announced as a pinch hitter last night and then sat down. He's hitting .225 with 2 home runs. One ball and 1 strike. Hasse has had 10 hits in his last 17 times up. Before that, he'd gone 0 for 25. One and 1. 2-1. Connie Lansford on deck. With all the rain and all the coolness and the wind, the place is full tonight. Out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on. Some spaces left in the bleachers, but Not that many, considering the fact that nobody was out there for a while when it was raining fairly hard.
They may still be in line underneath getting a hot dog or something.
Might be. The count is 2-2 to Hasse. And Clemens strikes him out, leaving 2 runners on the bases. 2 strikeouts for Roger in the first. After a half inning, it is Oakland 0. The Red Sox coming up.
This copyrighted program is brought to you under paid cable TV rights granted by the Boston Red Sox solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the accounts and descriptions of this game without the written consent of the New England Sports Network and the Boston Red Sox is prohibited.
Going to the top of the second inning, Roger Clemens and Oakland 0-0. As Burns took care of the Red Sox with just 1 hit. Clemens gave up a hit and a walk, but then the strikeout pitch on Ron Hasse. Toronto comes in on Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. John Cerruti, the left-hander, will face the Red Sox on Friday, and Dave Stieb will go in our Nesson game on Saturday afternoon.
With the new manager, the same manager they've had for the last couple of weeks. Cito Gaston today named the manager for the rest of the season. Terry Bevington, Bob Baylor, a couple of names that were thrown around that had a possibility. Of course, Lou Piniella also, but except Steinbrenner wanted some compensation, so that Dixie Piniella on the job. But I'm kind of happy to see him stay with Gaston. I wish him a lot of luck. I think he's going to do a good job.
I think the move was very popular with the players up there who knew him, and sometimes that hurts. Carney Lansford belts one to the gap in left center field, gets past Greenwell, plays it off the hop, and then drops it, and Lansford's in with a standing double. Lansford did not start in the game last night, came on late, and this time he takes right up where he left off with a .355 average by doubling to left center.
Carney has just absolutely been on fire early in the season, jumping on the first pitch, which he does so often. Watch this ball hit the grass and just skid right past Greenwell right here on that second bounce. Goes out to the wall, and Carney will be in the second base with the double. It was nice to get a day off. Of course, he did get an at-bat last night and walked, but nice to get that day off and get to hit the first time up in the next game.
Feel like you've been out for a week and you can ready and you're fresh. The batter is Tony Phillips, the shortstop, taking a strike. Phillips, a switcher, batting left against Clemens. Played third and short in the game last night.
Phillips' job here is to try to get Lansford to third base, and swinging the bat trying to do that would be a difficult task against a guy like Clemens who throws so hard. You may look for some type of a bunt, drag bunt possibly.
Boggs is a step in on the grass at third. Runner at second base, nobody out, and a strike to Phillips. Bluffs the bunt, takes a strike. Now they're startled at the call. 0-2. Goes to left field, and a long run for Greenwell, and a fair ball. Now it's foul. First, the umpire, Garcia, had waved the ball in play and then moved it foul. So it's a 0-2 count to Phillips.
Time you have to go down in that corner as a left fielder, you run out of foul territory in a hurry. There's just about none. You also have to deal with a lot of hands that wave over the stands, fans reaching out to try to get the ball themselves, and sometimes you can lose sight with the ball and not have fan interference called.
All you have is about 1.5 feet to run in over that foul line down there.
One step and splat into the wall.
Lansford at second. 0-2 count to Phillips. Boggs deepens at third, and a bluff towards second by Clemens, falling off. Kind of falling off the way that Sammy Stewart used to go when he would throw to second base. Except Stewart just kind of stand there, and that arm would whip back the other way, and he'd throw. Strike 3. Phillips felt that he was squeezed a couple of times on that sequence. And third base coach Rene Lashman wants to take the heat off Tony, who was arguing with Dale Scott. Third strikeout for Clemens.
Phillips was upset with the pitch before, but I really don't think he has a beef with this one. It looks like a pretty good pitch on the outside corner, a nasty pitch. Certainly a ball he's not going to be able to pull to get Lansford over. He just hoped to try to make some contact. He thought it was outside, but home plate umpire Dale Scott ringing up strike 3.
So much for getting the runner over to third with one out. Now there's one out, and Lansford is still at second. Blankenship taking a strike, and Lance Blankenship, who played second base last night, got a lot of offense going. He got 2 hits and a walk, knocked in a run. Is in right field tonight. Blankenship, a Californian, originally had been drafted by the Red Sox and did not report. Decided to stay in school at University of California at Berkeley. And then they never did get to the World Series, College World Series. Strike 2.
Clemens so far in this game has made some unhittable pitches. One on Henderson on the outside corner, and of course that last pitch right there, the Blankenship, and the one he struck Phillips out on.
Pitches definitely. He's quickly ahead of Lance Blankenship. 0-2. 0-3. Just the high hard one that time. 4 strikeouts for Clemens.
Clemens just rearing back and giving number 1 up in the strike zone, maybe even out of the strike zone. Blankenship taking the swing, but late with the swing. Strike 3. 4th strikeout already for Clemens.
So there are 2 outs, and Carney Lansford is still resting at second base. Glenn Hubbard back to the wars, has already made a nice play in the field, getting his first at bat, looking at a ball. Hubbard is 12 for 45 this year for his .267 average. He has 3 home runs and 9 batted in.
How about being on the disabled list and then the first game back facing Clemens?
Yeah, no day at the beach. Lansford takes off, draws a throw. He's safe. He steals third. Nice play by Boggs to save that throw from Gedman going into left field.
Have to be absolutely sure you're going to be able to steal a base with 2 outs, especially third base. Already in scoring position at second. With 2 outs, the middle infielders kind of take a step back deeper and relax, and that gave Lansford the extra jump. He takes advantage of it and steals third base for his 8th stolen base of the year. Like a good throw. That'd have been a very close play.
Yeah. But he had a good jump. They weren't paying an awful lot of attention to him out there. Hubbard up with a 2-0 count. There is a strike to Glenn. Veteran of many years of play with the Atlanta Braves in the National League. Came over to Oakland last year and hit .255. Signed as a free agent by the A's in January of '88 and played in 105 ball games for the champions. Breaking ball outside. 3-1. Rattles one to short, off the glove of Reed into left field for the run. Lansford scoring, and it's 1-0 Oakland. So the advantage of the stolen base shows right there, as Lansford would not have been able to score from second on that play.
Breaking ball from Clemens. Hubbard in his first at bat in quite some time, hitting the ball fairly hard into the hole. Reed goes to the backhand, and right at the last minute comes up and hits him right off the heel of the glove. And you're right, Ned. Taking advantage of the stolen base, getting on third base will get the A's a run, because had Lansford stayed on second, I don't believe he'd have scored on that play.
An error charge to Jody Reed. Hubbard at first base with 2 outs. Polonia the batter. Ball 1. Luis flied to center field in the first inning.
Looks like Reed had himself in pretty good position to make a play. It just looked like at the last second that ball bounced up and hit him right off the heel. Tough error, but yeah, it's an error.
1-0 the count to Polonia. Oakland leading 1-0. And Polonia goes to center field again, this time a little more toward left center for Ellis Burks. An unearned run scoring, and after an inning and a half, Oakland has taken a 1-0 lead. Sam Horn leads off for the Red Sox in the bottom of the fifth. Game that began an hour late because of the rain. Horn grounded to second base in the second inning, his first time up. Ball one. Todd Burns has given up 3 hits. Singles to Evans and Boggs and a double to Jody Reed. Ripped toward left field. That's going to be trouble. Polonia can't get it. Horn digging for second. He's got a double. Well, the crowd eats that up. They like the big guy, and he's had his struggles. Got pretty good wood on that double off the wall.
A lot of his struggles are because he's tried to pull some pitches that he really shouldn't be. Should be trying to hit him up the middle. There you see Horn going to the opposite field. Looks like this ball lands almost below Polonia's glove. Made a nice attempt at it. Bouncing back off the wall, and Sam Horn will pick up a double. Take another look at the leap by Polonia. He looks like he gets a little too soon, and the ball just going right off to his left of the glove. And that's one thing they wanted to see Sam Horn do. Take those outside pitches and take advantage of the wall, because he's certainly got the power to hit the ball off the wall.
Oh, God. Hit it through it. Ball could have been, looked as if it could have been caught because Polonia got back there in time. It just was off to the one side of his glove. He could not get to it. Ball was hit very hard, and he had to go back in a hurry. It's a double for Horn. He represents the tying run with nobody out in the fifth, and Nick Asaski up with a 1-0 count. Nick struck out in the third. He was called out on strikes, one of the 3 that Burns has. Two and 1 to Asaski. Punch toward right field, base hit. Horn will be held at third. The ball's fielded out there by Blankenship, who slipped on the wet grass. And now the runners are at first and third with nobody out.
Saski definitely had on his mind to hit the ball to the opposite field, and you see by the hand action, fastball running back in on him, and he's able to get those hands in and push this ball over Hubbard's head. Not going to take any chances with nobody out, and Horn going from second to third. A little slip by Blankenship in right field right before he fields the ball, but still able to come up clean with the baseball.
So the Red Sox have runners at the corners with nobody out, and Gedman up. Rich popped to shortstop in the third. The infield will play at double play depth right now. Fifth inning in a 1-0 ball game. Oakland leading. They will go for 2 if they can get it and concede a run. Horn at third, Asaski at first. And a 1-0 count to Gedman. Popped up again, back of second base. Tony Phillips, the shortstop, with it, and Gedman is out. There's one away.
Gedman not able to get the job done. pops the ball up and runners will have to remain where they are. You want to try to get the ball in the air. You don't want to hit into the double play, but try to drive the ball to the outfield.
Jody Reed is up. He's 1 for 2. He doubled his last time up. Seeing what happened at what he's done as a leadoff hitter, comparing his average in the 9 games he's batted in leadoff and the other games, 38 batting down in the order, quite a difference. He has really been pounding the ball, swinging the bat well from the leadoff spot. Strike 1. A lot of batters have complained about Scott tonight. Players on both sides.
Some of the pitches that they've complained about really have no reason because they've been nasty pitches, but that particular pitch there, Reed may have a beef on that one. It looked like the ball might have been up and also maybe outside.
0-1 the count. He fouls it. See if it's playable. No. There it is, but up on the playing field. No chance for Hasse. There are 2 strikes to Reed. Sam Horn at third base and Nick Osaski at first. 1 out. Oakland leading 1-0, bottom of the 5th.
Opportunities the Red Sox have to take advantage of. They've had some trouble scoring runs, and boy, they're first and third, nobody out. You gotta score something.
Fly ball into shallow right center. And who's got it? Center fielder Henderson firing toward the plate. The runner has to hold at third. Horn cannot move off the bag. Osaski still at first, and now there are 2 outs. So Reed cannot get the job done. Fly to shallow center. Actually in right center for Dave Henderson, who called Blankenship, the rookie, off.
Right here, Blankenship thinks he's got to make the play, but center fielder has charge. Makes that play, and obviously not deep enough for any tag or attempt at the plate. And 2 times they've had chances, and both times they failed. Now they need a 2-out base hit to score the run.
Marty Barrett up. Strike 1. Barrett is 0 for 2. He is grounded to second and grounded to short. Infield back a little bit now. Normal depth with 2 outs. Nothing in 1. The count to Barrett. And he gets the base hit and ties up the ball game. Barrett coming up with an off-field single and driving home Horn. 1-1.
Barrett's been frustrated at times, just maybe picking up 1 hit a game and not been able to tack some points on it at average, but he's gotten some big hits with the 1 hit has been getting, and I put this certainly in that category. Red Sox frustrated, leaving Horn on third base with 2 outs, and then Barrett coming out with a big 2-out base hit to tie this score at 1-1.
Marty's single to right field on Monday night that got the win over Oakland in the first game of this series. So Burns almost gets out of it, but not quite. Now he faces Boggs with runners at first and second, 2 outs and a run in. For Barrett, his 19th run batted in of the year. Boggs singled to left and reached on a shortstop error. Ball 1. Gene Nelson, a right-hander, throwing in the bullpen now for Oakland. Fastball for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Wade. There is Nelson. Used as a middle and late man sometimes. A setup primarily. And a man who can go long. He can go 4 or 5 innings in relief. 2-1. Burns now has given up 6 hits for the 1 run. Pickoff attempt to second. The ball hits the runner. Getting back in time, Osaski, but the ball hit him. That ball was, they had a pretty good move worked there as the shortstop Phillips got behind on the daylight, and the throw from the pitcher Burns just hits it.
Ball was going to be off target, and it gets a Sasky right in the middle of the back. Had it not hit him, that ball would have been into center field, but Henderson was charging, and I don't think Sasky would have been able to go any further than where he was right there at second base.
2-1. 3-1 to Boggs. Little noise starting at Fenway now. The Red Sox have tied it. But it's popped up by Boggs, left side. Lansford in foul ground and making the catch for the final out. 2 are left, but 1 does score on the Barrett single. And after 5, it's 1-1. Okay.
39.
Got some folks. Manchester.
Whitwell.
Watching a good ball game tonight, a 1-1 affair in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Mike Greenwell ahead of that off-speed pitch by Todd Burns. Greenwell has bounced to the mound and been called out on strikes as part of a double play. Boggs thrown out at second on the same play. It's little looper over short for base hit. Ball right off the hands of Greenwell, a leadoff single. He had gone 0 for 16 before that base hit.
Sometimes that's the type of base hit right there, too, that can bring you out of a slump. Not hit hard, really right off the label, but lined it over the shortstop's head for a base hit. We talked earlier in the game about Greenwell and getting his bat order in that he's been waiting for quite some time.
Well, he's on now. Here's Dwight Evans up, and take a look. Talk about aging well. 261 his first 8 seasons in the majors with average of 15 homers a year. His last 8 full seasons, a 281 average. This is averaging in these last 8 years an average of 27 homers and 92 RBIs, and he just keeps going and going. Really became a better hitter later on. Has always been a splendid right fielder.
Became a much more disciplined hitter later on in his career as time went on. He was always a threat to hit the home run here at Fenway Park. I remember early in his career, but struck out a lot and very undisciplined, but certainly he's picked up all that discipline that he needs, and always now draws a lot of base on balls, sprays the ball all over the ballpark, and still hits with power.
Hits home runs too. Yeah, he's always up among the first top 5 in walks almost every year. 1 ball and no strikes to Evans. Oakland won, the Red Sox won. Bottom of the 6th. Just came in and wondering why it's only the 6th inning at 10:30 in a 1-1 ball game, or near 10:30. It's because the game didn't start till 8:35 because of the rain. 2-0.
It's like up for the second time tonight. Gene Nelson, the right-hander, in the Oakland bullpen.
Two and a breaking ball for a strike. 2-1.
Burns only in his second start of the season. I believe what he threw about 6 1/3 inning last time against the Yankees. It'd certainly be the time of the game you'd start watching him very closely until he's able to build up his arm strength to maybe complete a game.
He's pitching very well. He's pitching a game somewhat like Stewart pitched last night, giving up a bunch of base hits, but very few things that happened in the run column. Red Sox got 11 hits and only 2 runs last night. They have 7 hits. They're out hitting Oakland 7-3. The score is tied 1-1. Evans playing the cat and mouse game, backing out now on Burns again.
That's the 3rd time.
This is one-upsmanship that these two have been playing. Tony La Russa looking on. And Hasse will go to the mound.
What's happening is Burns is getting frustrated. That's the third time tonight now that he's just about been in his windup or his delivery, and Evans has stepped out of the box. So Ashley's going to come out now and just try to calm him down. You could tell that Burns was upset. Just getting ready to release the ball, and umpire calls time, and Evans back out. You can see right there that Tony La Russa also is not very happy with all the stepping out that Dwight Evans is doing.
La Russa will make his presence felt and known to an umpire in a ball game. He's a firebrand type, but can also argue very selectively. Evans hits it high to left field. Polonia coming in. 1 out. With 1 gone and Greenwell on, Ellis Burks coming on. Burks has flied twice to right fielder Blankenship. Yankees now lead Seattle 9-5 after 8 at New York. One away. Greenwell off first. A good move over there by Burns that time, and Greenwell a bit off balance, almost fell off the bag. Ball 1.
The pitcher is very aware of Mike Greenwell on first base. That's 7 stolen bases and only been thrown out 1 time. And sooner or later, that surprise stolen base leaves you. They start paying attention, and you're going to start to draw more throws. Greenwell gets a very good lead.
And keeps it. Burks slowly foul. 1 ball, 1 strike to Ellis.
Well, like Canseco last year with all the stolen bases, at first it was the thought that, well, he was just sneaking up on people. He has good speed, but really didn't expect that kind of guy to steal that many bases, and he just proved as the time went on that, yes, I'm going to steal that many bases.
He did it almost arrogantly at some times. They felt that he would go. He knew that he was going to go, and he would definitely get down there in his 40-40 season. A ball and a strike to Burks. Lansford on the edge of the grass at third. McGuire holding against Greenwell, and the middle infielders at double play depth, forcing him to dive back in again. 1-1 ball game. You watch every runner.
Ed Fossey had a good point about this Oakland team. He said when they get everybody finally back healthy and they go through their rehabilitation programs, they're going to be well rested for the second half.
It is a point because everybody has been off, either hurt or being platooned around by La Russa. Guys getting a game here, a couple of games there, and then going back to the bench. They're a very confident ball club. Count is 2-1 to Burks. Strike 2. 2-2.
Dale Scott's getting a lot of funny looks behind the plate, but boy, most of these pitches that we've seen, they have been good pitches.
Right on the corners. He's had good control. He has not walked anybody. That's one thing. Even with the 7 hits, he's not hurt himself by walking anyone. He's 2-2 now to Burks.
I saw Tony La Russa giving some signs in the dugout a little while ago. He's giving those to Hassey and not necessarily calling the pitches, but probably just calling whether he wants to throw to first, he wants him to step off, or possibly a pitch out.
2-2 pitch. And Burks is out on strikes. No argument. That's a big one for Burns. His 4th of the night.
Throws Ellis Burks with a good curveball. Threw it directly at Burks. It breaks right back on the inside corner. What a good pitch. He had him thinking about the slider down and away, and then came with a different breaking ball, the curveball, and left it on the inside part of the plate, but just froze Burks.
And Ellis knew it. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, out at the mound. Sam Horn is the batter, and they want to talk about him. He doubled to left, a hard shot in the 5th inning, just past the glove of the leaping Polonia off the wall. Sam grounded to second base in the 2nd inning. Greenwell is at first. There are 2 outs in the 6th, and the teams are tied 1-1. Really working and paying due attention to Greenwell at first base, trying to take the half step away. He stays out 3.5 steps away from the bag. There have been a couple of close calls over there on throws, but he's still there. The count is 1-0 to Horn. Jackknife and almost falling down. 2-0.
Sam Horn with the quick feet. Ball running back in on him, and it's those long legs and feet moving like a tap dancer, huh? Get out of the way.
That's a lot of man to move around, too. 2 balls, no strikes. Runner takes off. Throw down there. He's safe at second base. Stolen base for Mike Greenwell. And he is in scoring position with 2 outs. The pitch was a strike.
We don't usually see the steal on 2 balls and no strikes because most of the time you're thinking fastball, but Greenwell certainly guessed right. It was an off-speed pitch. Good jump and just gets in the tag of Phillips. 8th stolen base of the season, only been thrown out 1 time. Now they're going to walk Sam Horn.
Pitch had been a ball, and he now gets the intentional walk with first base open. Runners at first and second. 2 outs, and Nick Osaski coming up.
It may not be a trade the Red Sox mind that much. Horn has been struggling. He's getting a few hits lately, but gets Osaski to the plate, and there you see Tony La Russa coming out, and he's going to make a move.
La Russa will call for Gene Nelson to work to Osaski. Osaski was called out on strikes in the 3rd inning, and he punched a single to right field in the 5th. But he will look at a new pitcher now, as Todd Burns goes 5 2/3 innings. Does a good job for himself. He has given up 7 hits, 1 run. It was earned. No walks, 4 strikeouts. He's responsible for 2 runners. They did have 1 walk, that one just now. The intentional walk, of course, to Sam Horn. That's the only walk that he has given up, and that was intentional. So he leaves a 1-1 ball game and leaves it in charge of Gene Nelson.
Nelson will be making his 13th appearance for the A's. 1 win, 1 loss, a 2.50 ERA. Pitched a total of 18 innings and given up 10 hits. Struck out 13 and only walked 4. Last time Nelson worked was 4 days ago against the Yankees, and that was the longest outing of the season for him. Pitched 3 innings in that ball game. Only gave up 1 hit, walked 1, and struck out 2. Been around different ball clubs. I believe he was with Tony La Russa when La Russa was the manager of the Chicago White Sox.
He was, and I think he liked what he saw over there of what Nelson can do. He can throw hard. He's from Tampa, Florida. Last year with the Oakland A's, won 9 and lost 6 with a 3.06 earned run average. Appearing in 54 games, 1 as a starter. He worked 112 innings And he struck out 67 and walked 38. He had been with the White Sox, and a long time ago, 1982, briefly with Seattle. He won 6 and lost 9 for the Mariners that year. And in 1983, he was 0 and 3 his final year with Seattle. So he will come on to face Nick Osaski with runners at first and second in this 1-1 ball game. We are in the 6th inning. Philadelphia underway at San Diego, 1-1 after an inning and a half. Nicky Thon has homered. Minnesota leading Kansas City 7-1 in the 6th inning. And here we go here. Osaski lays off, taking ball 1. One ball, no strikes. Greenwell at second. Horn at first. Base hit left field. Greenwell will be waved on. Polonia fires to the plate. It's cut off. Red Sox lead it 2-1. Clutch single by Nick Osaski as he picks up his 28th run batted in.
Osaski jumping on a high fastball from Nelson, and Greenwell had an excellent jump off second base. As soon as there's contact, he's off with 2 outs. Polonia charges this ball pretty well and is not that deep, but does not have a tremendous throwing arm, just about an average arm, and Rack Slider just waving Greenwell on, and there's absolutely no play at all on him. The Red Sox a 2-1 lead.
Gedman up, ball 1. Horn is at second. Osaski at first. 2 down. Gedman has popped up twice to shortstop. Takes ball 2. The run is charged, of course, to Todd Burns. And Horn is his responsibility also. 2-0. Little tapper. And Nelson will make the play alone on Gedman to end the inning. But the Red Sox get a run. They leave 2, and Gedman's getting it from the crowd. After 6 innings, 2-1 Boston. We're at the 8th inning in a game that began an hour late because of a rain delay. And this is the way it has gone. Oakland taking the lead on an unearned run in the second. And that's all that Roger Clemens has allowed. 2 runs later for the Red Sox in the 5th and 6th. Driven across by Marty Barrett with a right field single in the 5th inning. And a 2-out single by Nick Osaski in the 6th to put them ahead. Clemens has struck out 9, walked 3, given up 5 hits. Yankees have beaten Seattle 9-5. Milwaukee over California this afternoon 4-1. Battle going on in Baltimore. Bottom of the 8th now, and Baltimore leading Texas by an 8-5 score. Mickey Tettleton has hit his 13th home run in that game. McGuire up, strike 1.
A couple of very long innings, even though there has not been any scoring. That 7th inning seemed like the A's were up for quite a while, and also the Red Sox with some pitching changes. Have to see how that affects Clemens, if it does at all. They're sitting around that Red Sox dugout for quite a while.
McGuire fouling it off, strike 2. Mark has sandwiched 2 walks around a strikeout, so no contact for McGuire so far tonight.
Lee Smith now starting to throw in the Red Sox bullpen.
Lee was standing up around a while ago looking interestedly, and as the Oakland A's, or the Red Sox rather, were batting in the 7th. McGuire to short. Reed guns it, and there's 1 out. Cleveland beat Toronto 7-4. 10 hits for each ball club. Bud Black getting the win in relief. Jimmy Key, the starter and loser for Toronto. The Blue Jays will be in here on Friday night. Joe Carter, his 6th home run. George Bell, his 7th in that game. Ron Hassey, 0 for 3. Ball 1.
Well, the Red Sox, who start playing some of the teams from the East, at least don't have to play Baltimore and Cleveland. Both those clubs playing pretty good baseball.
They're the hot teams in the East right now. Red Sox will be playing Toronto and then hit the road for Detroit and New York next week. 1 ball and 1 strike to Hassey. He has struck out, line to right, and fouled out. Two and 1.
Speaking about Detroit, there's a little thing in the paper this morning about Sparky Anderson, who's now getting out and starting to play some golf, relaxing some, and his doctors say he's coming along just fine. Still no date on when he'll return to the Tigers.
Strike 2 to Hassey. The speculation is that probably around the All-Star break for Sparky. The Tigers have taken the lead over Chicago with a 2-run homer by Lou Whitaker in the 8th inning, his 13th of the year. 4-3 lead for Detroit over the White Sox at Comiskey. Henneman is now pitching for Detroit. 2-2 still to Ron Hassey.
Sounds like Lou Whitaker's on a mission this season. He was very upset at the end of last year when he came down with that injury, and a lot of people blamed him for the Tigers not being able to win, and was not pleased about it. So he's come out and ready to go here in 1989.
I tell you, when the Tigers were going so bad, he was the only one carrying that team. They'd have been felt like they were dropping out of sight if it hadn't been for Whitaker. And now they're still around because of the American League East being what it is. Count 2-2 to Hassey. It's raining in Kansas City. Have some fellas out there. It's in the 6th inning at rain delay, holding up that game with Minnesota leading 7-1. Hassey with the count of 2-2.
Well, that's just what we need, a beach ball on the field to slow this game up some more.
That's right. Well, it began at 8:35. It's now 11:17, and we're in the 8th. People who had come early and filled the grandstand, not a lot, but several have gone. Strike 3, number 10 for Clemens. Again on that outside corner to a left-handed batter.
A lot of off-speed pitches to Hassey earlier in the count, and with 2 strikes goes back to the outside corner with the fastball, and again another one of those looks to home plate umpire Dale Scott.
Well, he's had that right arm moving today for Clemens. So as we told you earlier, the top 4 strikeouts in a game for Roger this year is 11. He's now 1 below that. Ball 1 to Carney Lansford, who has had a double, a single, and a strikeout. It's 2-0.
Clemens bending over after that pitch, and his follow-through has been, it's a little different this inning than it has in the past. It could be getting tired, and I don't know how many pitches he's thrown, but I know he's had to work awful hard.
Well, with 10 strikeouts and 3 walks, there's been a few. He's 3-0 to Lansford. Carney taking strike 1. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Talked about the follow-through. I'm not sure which pitch this was. The last one wasn't too bad, but the one before that, he was just kind of falling off toward first base.
And he rings a strike in there on Lansford to go to 3-2. Besides all the strikeouts and the 3 walks, he's had a bunch of 3-2 counts. He's had 4 in the last 2 2/3 innings. And the crowd would like to see Lansford punched out. Not this time. He goes to short. Comes up for Reed. 1, 2, 3 for Clemens in the 8th. After 7 1/2, Boston 2, Oakland 1. Okay, we are into the 9th inning. We are at a 2-1 Red Sox lead. Roger Clemens is through for the night, and what a long and arduous job, and a good job he did tonight with 151 pitches, but gives way now to Lee Smith to nail it down for him.
Smith making his 16th appearance, 3 wins and 1 loss. 6.39 ERA, has 5 saves to his credit. 12 2/3 innings, 18 hits. He struck out 16 and walked 6. Got the win in the ball game against Oakland on Monday. Pitched 1 inning, had 1 strikeout in that ball game. It was 2 wins and 1 save in his last 3 appearances. 214 career saves. That's 7th on the all-time major league list. Sparky Lyle is next. He's 6th with 222. So another save opportunity here for Lee Smith.
Roger Clemens, in going the 8 innings and 151 pitches, gave up 1 unearned run, walked 3, struck out 10, and allowed just 5 hits. Fine performance by Roger Clemens tonight. Tony Phillips first up against Smith. Ball 1. Lee Arthur with a good homestand so far, 2 wins and a save, and getting a chance to pitch with the game on the line now in late innings, 8th and 9th innings. Phillips is 0 for 3 tonight, has struck out twice. And Smith falls behind 2-0.
A nice hitting situation also for Phillips, because the Red Sox trying to avoid the double, have the first and third baseman on the line, plus the fact they're in because of the speed of Phillips and respecting his bunting ability.
Boggs in at third, and it's low. Ball 3. 3-0. On 4 pitches, the tying run is on. Tony Phillips walks to start the 9th. And all kinds of things will be going on now. Blankenship is the batter. Terry Steinbach has come out, and Stan Javier is going to run for Tony Phillips. Javier running for Phillips. So here we go. 9th inning. Nobody ever said it was easy against the Oakland A's. Blankenship is up. He has struck out, walked, and grounded out to Barrett by way of Roger Clemens, who deflected the ball to Marty. Hard hit ball toward the middle. It's a strike from Smith. 0-1. Breeze is blowing in from left. Not a gale or not a bad wind to have too much of an effect, but it could hold the ball going to the left field wall. 1 strike pitch. Now time has been called. Blankenship had asked for time at the precise moment. Still was in time to stop Smith, and no pitch is made. 0-1 the count to Lance Blankenship. And there's strike 2. 0-2.
They're really not even being close on Phillips and walking him. He's made a couple of pretty nasty pitches on Blankenship, both times going to the outside corner with the fastball.
Overmatched on that pitch. 0-2. Try it again out there. Fouled out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Javier, the runner at first base. The adage, usually holding, or then whatever it is in the lore of baseball, that you play to win on the road and tie at home. Sometimes it is not played that way, but for the most part it is. Sometimes you wonder that maybe the bunt is necessary. Give up and out and get a runner down to scoring position. Fouled back. Particularly when you're down in the order and you've got Steinbach, a pretty good hitter, on deck. And not wanting particularly to get into the double play. But that's the way you play it.
A lot of times managers will use different options. Instead of going to the bunt, they'll go with the hit and run, or sometimes just a straight out steal. Stay away from the bunt altogether.
No balls and 2 strikes to Lance Blankenship. Outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oakland with a tying run at first base in the 9th inning. Nobody out. Boston leading 2-1. Lee Smith on in relief of Roger Clemens. Outfield straight away on Blankenship. Strike 3. Rung him up on the outside corner. He stayed right there with him all the time. And Blankenship is caught looking.
Almost like Blankenship knew this was going to be strike 3 before it even hits Gedman's glove. Ball again on the outside part of the plate. He knows right there he's going to start the head back. Almost 3 strikes in identical spots.
There's no room for error there. It's right on the outside slice of the plate every time, because he did get a couple that were in toward the middle and fouled them off. So now Terry Steinbach is going to pinch hit for Hubbard. Steinbach has hit in 29 of his last 32 games at a .381 clip. And he's been right up there in the hitters in the American League. Ball 1. Steinbach was behind the plate last night and had 1 hit in 5 times up. He's hitting .347 for the year with 3 home runs and 19 batted in.
La Russa giving last night Lansford a day off. He got a chance to get up to the plate late in the game, and tonight Steinbach getting the night off. He gets a chance to get up, both in critical situations. A couple of pretty good hitters.
Runner takes off and it's fouled off. They had a run. They had a play going. They had Javier taking off and Steinbach trying to nail it to right field to drive, get the runner to third base.
Javier with excellent speed on first base. I think this was a hit and run play with Steinbach. They tried it with him last night. Last time he swung and missed at the ball. Tonight gets contact but gets it foul. Good count. 1 ball, no strikes. You pretty much figure Smith's going to come in with a strike.
So it is 1-1 to Terry Steinbach.
One thing you worry about there is a line drive right at somebody, and that ends the ball game.
Smith the first. Barrett, who'd been playing kind of a halfway spot at second base, coming over to talk to Lee, and Gedman out to the mound. One ball and 1 strike count to Terry Steinbach. Javier, the runner, at first base. Everything's settled at the summit, and we're ready to go again. It is 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike, and 1 out.
If they put the hit and run on 1 ball and no strikes, they may do it again here on 2-1.
figuring the fastball will be coming in on a 2-1 and trying for a strike. No, he stays, a pitch out, and he is staying there, and Javier very glad about that. Bluffed it towards second, forced a pitch out, and now it's 3-1.
That's a risky call right there. Yes, 2 balls, 1 strike. You may get the hit and run, but the pitch out, now you've got the hitter in a situation. 3 balls and 1 strike. Certainly the count in his favor, and he can just kind of sit on a pitch right now, look in his zone, and get something that he can drive.
3-1. Polonia on deck. Smith walked the first batter, Phillips. Javier ran for him. Blankenship called out on strikes, and now a 3-1 count to pinch hitter Terry Steinbach. Now they take off the runner, and the throw down there is not in time. A steal. It was on strike 2, and the tying run is in scoring position now. Javier steals second.
Javier coming in as the pinch runner, very successful in stolen bases. Last year only thrown out 1 time, has not been thrown out this season. Head for a slide into second base, and now the tying run on second base, and Steinbach still at the plate.
Full count. 1 out, runner at second. Javier with a whole uniform full of dirt out there on the slide. Smith with a 3-2 count to Steinbach. Struck him out. 2 down. Big strikeout for Lee Smith.
Big strikeout indeed on going to the breaking ball, a slider. Lee Smith, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Finds the outside corner and keeps that ball down. Steinbach swinging right through, and now Louis Polonia, tough contact hitter at the plate.
He's made contact 4 times, but he's 0 for 4. Flied twice to center, once to left, and had a fielder's choice. Javier, the runner off second base in a 2-1 game. The Red Sox leading in the 9th. Ball 1. Henderson on deck. Rob Murphy gets up to throw in the bullpen again for Boston. Was up earlier a couple of innings ago. Count 1-0 to Louis Polonia. Right through the fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Smith going upstairs with the high hard one. Polonia swinging well underneath that pitch.
So it's a 1-1 count to Polonia. No contact being made off Smith so far in this inning. A walk and 2 strikeouts. Fouled back, and now the count is 1-2, and the crowd will be roaring for the strikeout here. A ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Just saves it with a foul ball, and the count remains 1-2 to Polonia. This is what Earl Weaver would have called a two-packer.
He'd be on 4-packs by now and then.
Yeah. This inning, I mean.
Yeah, this inning.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Towards shortstop and Jody Reed. And this one is past Asaski, and the tying run scores. Asaski throws to second. The runner is safe. It is now a 2-2 ball game. Holy crow. There was the third out. Jody Reed throwing low past Asaski and will draw a throwing error to tie this game up in the top of the 9th and put a runner at second base.
The last minute, this ball will come up on Jody Reed, and then he knows that he has to rush to first base because of the speed of Polonia. Have to block this ball somehow at first base. You got the tying run on second. You see one hop to first for Asaski. Right there, it gets by him, and it'll go far enough away so Javier can score, and Polonia will get himself to second.
He won.
The man that thought he had a save right there. And
now he faces Henderson with the lead run at second base for Oakland. And we have to go back to square one. 1 ball and no strikes to Henderson, who is 1 for 4. He singled to center in the 7th. And there goes Roger Clemens' 6th win. Doesn't matter if the Red Sox win it or not. Roger doesn't get it. 1 ball, no strikes to Dave Henderson. Outside ball 2. Oh my goodness, that reminds you of a play the Red Sox had an opening day in Anaheim when Jackie Gutierrez threw a ball past Dave Stapleton, and the winning run came across in the 9th inning in a game the Red Sox had won. This was not quite that drastic, but you never know. There's a strike to Henderson.
Remember that game? We had a day off the next day, and after that was the first game of the season, and boy, it was a long time waiting for that next game to start.
It was that. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. 2 strikes. It's 2-2. And that is the score, ladies and gentlemen, and friends of the racing greyhound. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 5 hits for Oakland all night long, and they've tied it up in the 9th on a throwing error given to Jody Reed. And Henderson belts one to center field, and Burks coming on makes the catch for the out. Oh, what a saver that was by Ellis Burks. With the lead run headed for home, slides in and makes the catch to end the top of the 9th inning. We go to the bottom, 2-2. Lee Smith out to pitch into his 2nd inning. Gave up 1 unearned run in the 9th inning, gave up no hits during that time. A walk, 2 strikeouts, the error by Reed to allow the tying run to score, and then backed up by a sterling catch just off the grass by Ellis Burks to save what, well, it could have been the winning run of the ball game, as it turned out in the 9th. But now we go to the 10th. It'll be Parker, McGuire, and Hasse, the belt of the Oakland order.
A lot of the fans have left the ballpark, and a lot more are leaving right now. They're probably going to catch that last train.
Oh, last train to Bangkok. In extra inning games this year, Oakland is 0-2. And the Red Sox are 3-4. Parker 1 for 4, a single back in the 1st inning. And a strike. These two have encountered each other many times before in the National League. Let's talk about big against big. Lee Smith and Dave Parker. One ball, one strike. The attendance again at this game was 33,510. Now thinned out. There goes a long drive to right field. That is going to be out of here. Home run, Dave Parker, and Oakland leads by a run. A tremendous blast for the second night in a row off by Parker last night to give them an insurance run, this time to put them ahead by a run.
No question about this one. As soon as it left the bat, a fastball that was down looked like it was in a bit, and Parker with that looping swing that he was talking about. Watch his reaction after he hits this ball. He's just going to stand at home plate and watch how far this ball goes.
Smith talking to himself. Parker can just walk on this one. Well, last night's shot was over the bullpen, the Red Sox bullpen in right center. There's the home run swing of Mark McGwire. This one was over the Oakland bullpen and right also into the bleachers. And it was Parker's 8th home run of the year. 3-2 Oakland. One ball, one strike. That's the first RBI the Oakland A's have had tonight. Holding up, and a ball is called by first base umpire Rocky Rowe. 2 balls and 1 strike. Fly ball, center field. Ellis Burks back toward the triangle, has room. And McGwire is out. 1 away.
Raya had back-to-back in his mind, jumping on top of that high fastball. Really where straight fastball, hard fastball pitches like to get to McGwire, get him up in the strike zone, and he tries to jump all over this pitch and flies out to center field.
His first swing for a strike was a swing like that, too. The batter now is Ron Hassey, who is 0 for 4. A ball, actually not. Yeah, he struck out twice against Clemens. He was number 2 and number 10 against Roger. Line to right and fouled out his other 2 times. 1 ball, no strikes. 2-0. It's over in Detroit. The rain finally stopped enough for the White Sox to bat in the 9th inning, and the Tigers beat Chicago 4-3 at Comiskey Park. Each team getting 8 hits, Chicago getting 3 errors. 2-1 to Hassey. Mike Henneman got the win in relief, and Hernandez picked up the save. Two balls and 2 strikes. That's the first home run given up by Lee Smith this year, and the last one was August the 27th in Seattle last season.
Parker's getting first home runs off a couple of Red Sox pitchers. Last night it was the first home run hit off Bob Stanley this season.
Yep. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ron Hassey. And out of there. Strikeout for Smith, his 3rd. There are 2 down.
Kind of different philosophies on the way different managers will use their bullpen. For example, the Oakland A's, if Eckersley had been in this situation where no longer was a save on the line, he probably would not have come out to start this inning, whereas we see Joe Morgan bringing Smith out to start another inning, which he's done in the past.
Yeah, he has. Usually try to get him to pitch 1 inning. 1 inning every other day, kind of like spring training. Maybe 1 inning back-to-back from time to time. But now he's going 2. And he's behind by a run as Carney Lansford has the count 1-0. Lansford is 2 for 4, a double and a single. One ball, 1 strike. The Red Sox 10th inning will go like this. Scheduled up: Greenwell, Evans, and Burks. Lansford 2-1 now. Game is now over 3.5 hours old. It began at 8:35, an hour delay by rain. Two and two. Red Sox with an off day, or an exhibition game at Pawtucket tomorrow night at McCoy Stadium. And the Toronto Blue Jays come in for 3 over the weekend. And that's all for Lansford. He is caught, trying to check his swing, does check it. It's a strike. And Lee Smith strikes out 4 in 2 innings, but gives up the homer to Parker. And we go to the bottom of the 10th, 3-2 Oakland. He went 2 innings, gave up no hits and no runs, walked 2, struck out 2, and now Eric Plunk is trying to come in to save it.
18th appearance of the season for Plunk. 1 win, no loss, 1.37 ERA, has 1 save to his credit. Only given up 9 hits in 19 2/3 innings. Struck out 17 and walked 10. Good hard fastball and a curveball. And as you mentioned last night, Ned, probably the right-handed guy they'll be going to try to close some ball game out for him until Eckersley is able to return this Oakland A bullpen.
Yeah, he's a guy that can come in and strike people out. Plunk last year was 7-2 with Oakland with a 3 earned run average. He had 5 saves, worked 78 innings, gave up 62 hits. He struck out 79 in 78 innings. That gives you an idea of the K pitch that he's got. He walked 39. 3 separate years for Oakland: 4 and 7 in '86, 4 and 6 before being sent down to AAA in '87, and a good year last season. So he's out there now to face Mike Greenwell. The Red Sox down by a run in the 10th inning. Strike 1. Greenwell is 1 for 4. Broke an 0 for 16 string with a single in the 6th inning.
Once again, a look back to Dale Scott. Some words from Greenwell. I would have to say one thing: Scott has been consistent all night. He's been
both sides.
That's right.
He is. He's been a pitcher's friend tonight, I believe. One ball and 1 strike.
That's what you want to slide out of your mouth. If you're a hitter, that's the same pitch right there, but I think that ball is just a little lower than the first one.
And there is a strike. 1 and 2 to Greenwell. Got him. Greenwell out on strikes. There's 1 away in the 10th. So Plunk's fans the first man he faced. Of course, he struck out 2.
The advantage of getting ahead of a hitter, you get him down 2 strikes, and they'll have to chase some bad pitches, and that's exactly what Greenwell does there. That ball well out of the strike zone down.
Plunk will now face Dwight Evans. Evans is 1 for 4. He's singled in the 4th. Red Sox have 9 hits in the game. The Oakland A's but 6, but the A's lead it 3-2 in an incredible sort of ball game for the Red Sox. Came from behind to tie it up 1-1 in the 5th, went ahead 2-1 in the 6th, and that lasted until 2 outs in the 9th, when what looked to be the inning-ending ground ball turned out to be an error, and the tying run came across.
If the end result of this game is the same as what it is now, 3-2, that's going to be a very difficult loss for the Red Sox, because a tough-fought ball game and one you should have had won.
Evans ahead on the count, 2-0. A strike to Dwight. Plunk working from that stretch. Strike two. There's 2-2 count. Eric Plunk is from Wilmington, California originally. Got him from the New York Yankees with pitchers Tim Burtsis, a left-hander, Jay Howell, Jose Rijo. Boy, where are all those folks now? And outfielder Stan Javier in exchange for Ricky Henderson and Bert Bradley. 3-2. That was in 1984 in December. That trade made. Plunk became an Oakland A. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Ripped into left field, base hit. Going to the wall in a hurry. Evans will hold with a long single as Polonia gets the ball back in. Dwight Evans representing the tying run at first base with 1 out.
Oakland outfield playing very deep, and Polonia did not have very far to go for this ball. It was a shot by Evans heading down into that left field corner. Ball bouncing off the bottom of the wall back to Polonia, and he gets the ball back in a hurry to second base. It was not a good throw, but Evans couldn't take the chance of trying to get to second base.
You think a little bit about trying to run on Polonia's arm, and you score a run like that earlier, but not when you represent the tying run and you've got the play in front of you. So a conference at the mound as Plunk will face Ellis Burks. 1 out, tying run at first, bottom of the 10th inning. Oakland 3, Boston 2. Would you believe it? Burks is 0 for 3. Walked his last time up. Fly ball deep toward left field, hangs up, it's off the wall. Evans will be held at third. It's a double for Burks, and runners are at second and third. So the people who stuck around and now have a chance to see the Red Sox with a chance.
Maybe the Red Sox saving the best for last. Couple of balls hit hard, first by Evans, and Burks jumping all over this first pitch by Plunk and driving it off the wall. Evans, knowing that that ball's going to hit the wall, does not slow up, makes it all the way to third base, and Burks will have himself a double.
So now the winning run is at second base. Dave Duncan, pitching coach, coming out for La Russa. Left-hander throwing in the bullpen for Oakland. The A's lead it 3-2. Tying run at third, Evans. The winning run at second, Burks. There's 1 out, and Sam Horn coming up. Kurt Young up for the second time. Third time actually out there. He's a starter normally.
And a couple of left-handers up and down so far tonight. Young's been up 2 or 3 times, and also Rob Murphy for the Red Sox has been bouncing up and down in that Red Sox bullpen.
So now they have talked to Plunk about Sam Horn. Horn in this game has grounded out, doubled to left, been intentionally passed, and struck out. Well, what a shot for the big man to do something right now. There's a fastball for a strike.
A's infield playing back. They'll give up the tying run, but do not want to give up that winning run.
No, sir. Black so they can knock a ball down going to the infield. One ball and 1 strike. Foul ball out of play. And it's 1-2 to Horn. Nick Osaski on deck. Way upstairs for ball two. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dwight Evans at third base. Ellis Burks at second. The smattering of folks who stayed around are at least getting their money's worth. 2-2 pitch. And a save back of the plate. Whew. That ball could have been the tying run of the game right there.
I don't know how in the world Hassey was able to make a play on this ball at all. A hard fastball from Plunk heading back in toward the feet of Sam Horn, and just an incredible play by Ron Hassey to keep those runners exactly where they are. Wow.
We've seen some catching in this homestand. Horn down, Hassey down. The ball stays in Hassey's mitt. It is now 3-2 to Horn. A bouncer to first. This will tie up the game. It is 3-3, and Burks goes to third. So Horn gets the bat on the ball. He is thrown out, but gets the RBI as Evans comes in with a tying run. And La Russa will head for the mound with a Sasky due up. A runner at third. The game is tied up again, 3-3. The Red Sox with a chance to win it.
Sam Horn staying away from the strikeout, just getting a piece of the ball. We mentioned that the Oakland infield was back, giving up the tying run. McGuire will feed over to Plunk covering first, and to see Evans cross the plate to make the score now 3-3.
So Eric Plunk will leave the game, and Kurt Young is coming on with a Sasky due up and Gedman behind him. So Plunk does not get the job done on saving the game. He gives up in 2/3 of an inning, gives up 2 hits and a run, struck out 1, no walks, and is responsible for the runner at third, Ellis Burks. So in the weird and wild and wonderful seesaw ball game, it is now again tied in the bottom of the 10th with a winning run at third and 2 outs.
Kurt Young, who has been a starter and is a starter for this ball club, making his 10th appearance of the season, and all but 2 of those have been in the starts for Young. He's got a record of 2 wins and 4 losses with a 4.68 ERA, giving up a total of 49 hits in 42 and a third innings. He struck out 23 and walked 19.
He's a guy that will not overpower you, but has pitched several good games against the Red Sox in the past. Keep the ball down, throw off-speed pitches, breaking stuff.
Now the question here is, are they just going to put a Sasky on first base? Gedman is due up next. Actually, there'll be a pinch hitter for him.
Yeah.
And we saw Rick Cerrone running in from the Red Sox bullpen, taking off his jacket. Looks like he's going to the bat rack. So if that's what does develop, possibly we'll see Cerrone. There he is with a helmet on and a bat.
I was wondering about La Russa doing that, really. You'd think that that's what he's going to do, put a Sasky on who already has 2 hits in this game and knocked in a run. But then you feel that they'll bat for Gedman with a right-handed hitter. Of course, the run at first base means nothing, and they have a chance, of course, to get a force out there at second base if there is a pass to a Sasky, or whether he just didn't want Plunk out there, the chance to throw it away the way he was throwing.
Well, plus the fact if he puts a Sasky on, whoever does come to bat for Gedman, and you look at the right-handed hitters, Cerrone, Rice, Kutcher, and Romero, you're losing something because, you know, Sasky has been swinging the bat well tonight, so whatever right-hand hitter you do face, it's not going to be probably as effective as a Sasky would be.
Sasky been looking at pitching all night. Nick is up there. Ellis Burks at third in a tie game in the 10th. 3-3, 2 outs.
Exactly what the A's are going to do. La Russa has already given the 4 fingers for the intentional walk.
Sasky has struck out, hit 2 singles, and walked. He has an RBI tonight and will be put on first. The only thing being that the answer to that would be also, besides getting rid of a hot hitter, fairly hot hitter tonight, putting somebody on first where a grounder to some part of the infield out around the middle could result in a force out at second base with a runner at first.
So La Russa in the dugout motioning to Hasse behind the plate to tell him to make sure he stops. It'd be just the way this ball game is going for an end in the balk.
One was won and lost on a balk just a couple of days ago in the majors. Rick Cerrone, who has really been a good hitter here at Fenway Park. He's had a fine average. Is going to bat and a chance to do something. He's batting for Gedman, who'd gone 0 for 4. Cerrone coming up with 2 down and runners at first and third.
So what La Russa is telling the Red Sox, he'd rather have Young facing Cerrone than Plunk facing Osaski.
So we're all set to go. Runners at first and third. Cerrone the batter, hitting .269 on the year. Lays off and takes ball 1.
Cerrone is also hitting .346 against left-handed pitching.
And at Fenway Park, his hitting .440. 11 hits and 25 times up. Fouls it off, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Kurt Young working to Rick Cerrone. 2 outs in the 10th inning, and the game tied up 3-3. Ellis Burks, the main man. He's at third, representing the winning run. Osaski is at first. And there's a base hit into center field. That wins the ball game for Boston. Rick Cerrone comes up with a pinch single. And the Red Sox win it in 10. Well, well, well. Incredible turn of events. The Oakland A's seemingly ready to win it. Grabbing the game out of nowhere with an error. And the Red Sox battling back to win it in the 10th inning. Their second 10th inning win in this series. To take the series 2-1. A big win for Boston. They get a run. They get 2 runs. And we'll take a look at it again. And Cerrone makes good contact with a low outside pitch and drops it into right center field for the game winner. The totals in the 10th inning for the Red Sox: 2 runs. They had 3 hits. And of course they left a couple of people on base, but the main man got in. Ellis Burks from third base on the pinch single by Rick Cerrone. Fine job again by Roger Clemens, of course, but we'll take the player of the game to be Rick Cerrone, with his pinch single coming cold off the bench with runners at first and third and delivering the game winner. Final score in 10 innings, the Red Sox 4 and Oakland